The international community failed Rwanda and that must always leave us with a sense of bitter regret and abiding sorrow. If the international community had acted promptly and with determination, it could have stopped most of the killing. But the political will was not there.
The former UN boss went to the grave regretting the Rwandan genocide and how it unfolded. The international community, particularly the United Nations, did not act swiftly enough to avoid the massacre of million Tutsis. Fueled by hate speech and some media bias, at that time, South Africa was preparing for the first democratic elections. At that time, and the current governing party was informed about the crisis that was developing. A lot could have been done to avoid the killings.
In any conflict situation, therefore, we will either act as part of the United Nations organization or the Organization of African Unity. The United Nations has asked us to be involved in the situation in Rwanda. They have not asked us to intervene militarily.
It is inevitable that many questions will and must be asked and answers demanded. Why did it happen? What evil force captured the souls of the genocidaires, giving them the courage to murder 1 million people in cold blood? What was it that gave the leaders and commanders of the genocidaires the murderous courage to direct and preside over so gruesome a crime? What did we as Africans do to stop the slaughter? If we did nothing, why did we do nothing? Why did the United Nations set up to ensure that genocide, as occurred when the Holocaust was visited on the Jewish people, did not recur anywhere in the world? Why did it stand by as Africans were exterminated like pernicious vermin?
South Africa now says it will not turn a blind eye. This after the UN Security Council failed to agree on a resolution that will lead to a permanent ceasefire in Gaza.
Of course, the Israeli government has perfected the way in which it does not follow and implement decisions that are taken at the UN, at the Security Council, or in other world forums. They've become a law unto themselves internationally, and this is totally unacceptable. So we are once again calling for a ceasefire, and we're now saying that there needs to be follow-up by those international agencies that are supposed to ensure that there's a rule of law, there's order in the world.
The legal teams for South Africa and Israel have presented oral arguments and are both hopeful that the court will rule in their favor.
Under the Genocide Convention, nothing justifies genocidal acts currently being committed by Israel. Self-defense is no answer to genocide. Nothing can ever justify genocide. There is no balancing exercise as Israel has sought to suggest. The prohibition is absolute. It is perimeter rule of law. No matter what some individual within the group of Palestine in Gaza may have done, and no matter how great the threat to Israel's citizens might be, genocidal attacks on the whole of Gaza and the whole of its population with the intent of destroying them cannot be justified at all.
The applicant has regrettably put before the court a profoundly distorted factual and legal picture. The entirety of its case hinges on a deliberately curated, decontextualized, and manipulative description of the reality of current hostilities. South Africa purports to come to this court in the lofty position of a guardian of the interest of humanity. in delegitimizing Israel's 75-year existence in its opening presentation yesterday, that broad commitment to humanity rang hollow.
The bombardment on Gaza is continuing, and the United Nations has reported that people were killed at the UN Center yesterday. Sophie Mkwena, SABC News, Johannesburg.